Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is October 19th, 2025, and we are looking at Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 3. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 3, and it says this: "A man's own foolishness leads him astray, yet his heart rages against Yahweh." There are times where things go wrong in the world, and things don't go the way we think they should. Life sucks. Bad things happen, and we may cry out and say, "Why would God let that happen?" I've done it. Shoot, I've done it this week. And yet, this verse reminded me this morning. People do stupid stuff. And then the consequences of that stupid creates pain. And we say, "God, why did you do that? Why did you let that happen?" I hear people say all the time, "Why do you give devil credit for so much?" And the reality is the devil put the thoughts in the minds of the people that did the stupid, but they had choices. And I have to remind myself that my battle is not against those people. It's against the wicked that's battling against the world. But I also have to remember that the consequences in this world are because of the decisions that mankind makes. A man's own foolishness leads him astray. Mankind's own foolishness lead them astray. And even though we know that, we get angry with God. That's the J translation for Proverbs 19, verse 3. The world screams and yells because things aren't right, yet they're reaping the consequences of the actions of the people around them. It sucks. Judson's Fishing Channel, thanks for joining us this morning. I gave you your shout out just like you asked. The rest of you, I just need you to recognize, yes, sometimes difficulty in the world happens, and it ultimately came from the impulse of the evil one. But we chose to act on that impulse. You know, the scripture is very clear that the temptation is not the sin, it's the acting because of the temptation. The temptation is the devil coming at you. Our actions then have consequences. Now, consequences can be good too. If the temptation comes and we reject it and we shut it down, like if I were walking through a liquor aisle knowing I'm an alcoholic and the devil starts screaming at me that my life is a mess and it would feel a little bit better for a minute if you just bought a bottle, nobody would know. I've got a choice in that moment. The temptation isn't the sin. I've got a choice. I can pick up a bottle. I got many choices. I can let that ruminate in my head for days, keeping me off track. By the way, that choice is almost the same as picking up a bottle. maybe worse because it keeps me distracted for days. But I also have the choice to say, not today, Satan, out loud, in the middle of the store, in a crowded liquor aisle. No matter what, I'm going to reap the consequences of my decision. If I choose to pick up the bottle, I'm going to break my 13-year sobriety, and I'm going to deal with stupid consequences that will be costly. If I choose to not address it in any way, shape, or form, and just let it spin out in my head, I am going to be a miserable wretch, hard to get along with, and let these things just dwell in my head and be miserable to everyone else around, and the consequences will be extreme. Or I can just stand up and say, not today, Satan, which, by the way, I have done, and was amazing to watch people reaching for bottles that not only did that temptation go away from me, but it left someone else too. I watched them pull their hand back, look down at their cart, and walk away. Now, I don't know if they came back, but I got to experience the power of standing up to the devil in that moment. And I walked through that aisle without any of the negative consequences that I could have had. A man's own foolishness can lead him astray. But we want to blame God? We got choices. Let's make sure we choose well today. It's Sunday, guys. Don't forget, get out there and get to church. I love y'all. Have a great day. God bless.